The United States President Donald Trump has called India a victim of terror in his speech at the US-Arab-Islamic summit in Riyadh. He has also said that countries must ensure that terror groups don't find sanctuary on their soil. He did not name Pakistan, but his statement is significant also in light of the fact that Trump snubbed Nawaz Sharif's request for a face-to-face meeting during the two-day summit in Riyadh. In fact, Saudi Arabia, the host of the summit too, had backed, in fact, Pak's request for a brief meeting between Sharif and Trump. Well, let's go across to Ananya, who's joining us with further details. Ananya, take us to Donald Trump's statement, which has come in from Riyadh.
Extremely significant, Akshay, because we do know that the U.S. President was in Riyadh to attend the Arab-Islamic U.S. summit over the weekend. He was there for 2 days. And, the specific point was that he addressed the leaders of 50 Arab and Muslim countries. Pakistan was amongst that. And during that particular address, he's named India. He's called India a victim of terror. He's named several other countries in that list. In fact, I'm quoting him now. He said that the nations of Europe have also endured unspeakable horror. So have nations of Africa, South America. And then he's gone on to name India, Russia, China, and Australia have all been victims. Going ahead, he has not named Pakistan, but he has said that every nation has an absolute duty to ensure that terrorists find no quarter on their soil. Now, this is significant because we do know of the Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif requesting for a meeting with the U.S. President during this two-day summit in Riyadh. In fact, that was a request that was backed by the host country, Saudi Arabia as well. Saudi Arabia, in fact, had asked the U.S. on behalf of Pakistan to spare some time for a brief chat, face-to-face chat between the two leaders, but that hasn't happened. So President Trump has snubbed Nawaz Sharif, not given him time for a meeting, and then gone ahead and said that countries have a responsibility to work together to eradicate terror.
Stay with us. In fact, Shashank, former diplomat, also joining us now on NewsX. Mr. Shashank, according to you, how do you react to President Donald Trump calling out India as a victim of terror in his address? Very significant statement, isn't it, sir?
Yes, it's very significant, linked with the fact that Pakistan's request for a meeting with President Trump has not yet been agreed upon, even though it has been supported by the host country, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which has developed a very effective relationship with the United States for a long time. So that is one. Second is because the Russian issue, which has been raised again and again in the domestic politics in America, where the President Trump wanted to join hands with Russia to deal with terrorism. So I think now he has enlarged the process and he has included all those countries which have suffered under terrorism. So he would like to build up some kind of a wider alliance or grouping of like-minded countries which have suffered under terrorism. So in a way, I think I would say that it is a welcome development and should help very much during the course of our Prime Minister's future travel plan, including to the United States.
Right, and of course, it is also significant, Mr. Shashank, given the fact that in this very visit to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, President Trump refused to meet Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, despite, of course, a request from Islamabad, despite also Riyadh and Saudi Arabia backing that meet. He refused to meet him.
Yeah, in a way, he has already conveyed a message that no country should give any quarters or any kind of refuge to terrorist elements. In case of Pakistan, it's not just a question of refuge, but also active involvement and sponsorship. It's a different matter that for some time Indians had agreed to treat Pakistan also as a victim of terrorism, or Chinese have been talking about Pakistan being a victim of terrorism. But this has not cut any ice with President Trump and many other countries in Europe who have suffered under terrorism sponsored from Pakistan.
Stay with us. In fact, we also have Shrikant Sharma, former diplomat, joining us now on NewsX. Mr. Sharma, according to you, how significant is this statement coming in from United States President Donald Trump?
No, it at least should assuage our concerns, because otherwise, in that meeting in Riyadh, the first meeting, first foreign visit and first meeting of the new U.S. president with foreign leaders included all those who also included some whose country has been used for terrorism, and global terrorism has been traced to their country. So I think in that kind of a context, to say that India has been among the worst sufferers is in some facts in perspective. And that combined with the fact that the Pakistani smoothness that they are also going to meet Trump, I think that is also given a knock when Nawaz Sharif's meeting is still not done. So in both ways, this meeting, Pakistanis have a trend, they always tend to claim that they are walking tall in the world community and, but this again puts them in their place, this kind of stuff.
Okay. In fact, Shrikant Sharma, it's also significant given the fact that in this very visit by President Trump to Riyadh for this summit, he did not meet Nawaz Sharif, the Pakistani Prime Minister, despite a request from Islamabad, despite Riyadh's back of that meeting. So we have to, link the two together. Also, the fact is, he did name and shame certain countries while not officially naming Pakistan, but he said countries should not become a sanctuary for terrorists.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that way he reconnects with the previous Republican leaders, including George Bush, So it seems to indicate that despite the verbiage which has come out from Washington, the main policy line remains, more or less along the same track as we have been used to seeing it.
Okay, and the fact also is, Mr. Shashank, according to you as well, is it a severe indictment of Pakistan when, without naming them, he's also said that countries should not become sanctuaries for terrorists? He said countries should not harbor terrorists, so that they can set up their base and flourish and attack other countries while operating from one particular country.
What's happening is that sometimes the experts in the U.S. government have made statements of a certain kind, and then President Trump has given a tweet which is completely different from the course of the statement. But in this particular case, we find that the Director of National Security in America, who had spoken with the courts about India's tolerance limits coming to an end, with Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. So I think President Trump has more or less confirmed what his experts have been advising him. So that way it seems to be that the U.S. government as a whole is now going to pursue a certain line. But we'll have to keep watch over it and see that this is pursued by the American administration over a period of time.
Okay, and also do you feel, Shrikant Sharma, it's embarrassing for Pakistan at a global stage? President Trump, of course, not naming them directly, but countries like Iran have named them earlier. Iran has called out Pakistan and said they should not harbor terrorists who could potentially attack Iran. Afghanistan has done that too.
Today's paper says that Iran has even told Pakistan that unless they keep these rebels in check, Iran will be compelled to strike them inside Pakistan. Now that's, if it's true, this kind of statement shows the impatience of even Iran with Pakistan's shenanigans, Pakistan always has this habit of running with the hare and hunting with the hounds. It wants to go with Saudi Arabia and join anti-Iran coalition, and its ex-army chief heads that kind of coalition. On the other hand, it wants to also forge a relationship with Iran. So, and continue to, harbor people who trouble Iran. So that way it is, it's getting increasingly exposed and under attack.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Shrikant Sharma and Shashank, thank you very much, both of you gentlemen, for joining us with your perspectives. Also, moving on.